On my Instagram, you all shared with me 10 bad habits that you would like to break. After thinking about it for a while, I'll share with you some of the practical and effective tips that I've brainstormed to help you break free or at least improve on that bad habit. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is David Liu. I'm an incoming medical sciences and scholars elective student at Western University. A few months ago, I read a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and he shares a 4-step outline for breaking bad habits. Make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, and make it unsatisfying. So these tips that I'll be sharing will do one of those 4 things, which will then make that bad habit more difficult. Let's hop into it. So the first bad habit is staying in bed after waking up. Okay, so if you mean waking up after your alarm clock rings and then going back into bed, my tip would be to put your phone on the opposite side of the room, right next to the windows if possible. That way, in order to turn off your alarm, you'll have to get out of bed and walk all the way to the opposite side of the room to turn off the alarm. And by then, you'll already half woken up. How you can get fully awake, rip those curtains right open, get that sunlight shining in on you, and that will drop down your melatonin levels, which is the hormone that keeps you tired. So rip open those curtains, feel that sunlight, enjoy it, and then feel awake and empowered to conquer that day. If you mean after you've woken up, had breakfast, brush your teeth, and then just going back into bed for the morning, I think something you could do is try making your bed. That way, after you come back to your room and you see this crisply made bed, do you really want to go back onto that bed and ruin the perfection of that amazingly made bed? You're less likely to want to do that because you spent time making your bed, and that makes staying in bed for the morning unattractive. The next bad habits are laziness, procrastination, and cramming. Procrastination. Okay, so I think that laziness and procrastination are a myth. Firstly, we're adults. There are things that we just have to do, things that are important to us. The second thing is optimizing our environment so that we can minimize distractions and make it easy to do the things that we need to get done. I have a previous video on this, but just to briefly explain, say you really like to scroll through Instagram, you can delete your Instagram app every time after you use it. Therefore, in order to go on Instagram and get distracted by Instagram, you'd have to want it a lot more to re-download the app, re-log in. You're making this bad habit more difficult. The next bad habit is going on TikTok breaks that last 1 hour instead of 5 minutes. Scrolling through TikTok for way too long. Okay, so with TikTok, you could also delete the app. But something else you could try is something called screen time. So there's an awesome feature in iOS. If you go to your settings, screen time, and then app limits, you can actually set the limit of the maximum amount of time that you can use an app for. So say right now you use TikTok for 2 hours a day and you want to cut down on that. Drop that number slowly. So maybe first go down to 1.5 hours a day, and then 3 weeks later drop it down to 1 hour a day. Once you get to your app limit, your phone will just no longer let you use the app. You might be asking, can you go into settings and just turn off screen time? What you could do, if you really are serious about wanting to use TikTok or whichever app less, you can set a screen time passcode and get a friend or a family to set this passcode for you and never tell you. Have them jot it down somewhere, maybe on their phone, so that they don't forget it, and preferably not a younger sibling, because then you could bully them into telling you what the password is, so maybe to a parent. Even if you decide not to go down that route, just having that limit there in the first place, and if you want to use TikTok more, then you'd have to go into settings and remove that app limit and enter in your own screen time passcode. That's already just extra friction that will make you less likely to use TikTok beyond your app limit. So give that a try, and you can actually look in screen time directly to see how your usage of TikTok has decreased over time. Sick, cool. So the 7th bad habit is sleeping in. So first, I do want to say that sleep is important. It's okay to sleep in every once in a while, but I do agree that sleeping in every day beyond what you want to sleep for is a problem. In this case, I would say that an alarm clock would probably not be so effective just because of how easy it is to snooze. I think the best bet here would be to find an accountability partner. So maybe someone in your family who also wants to wake up earlier. You could keep each other accountable and wake each other up. Again, preferably someone like a parent, because if it's a younger sibling and they wake you up, you can just tell them to shut up and just go back to bed. Maybe a parent or an older sibling. Just make it more unsatisfying to disappoint your parents when both of you have committed to this challenge of waking up earlier and improving your life. 8 is not being with David, but also narcolepsy and a lack of motivation. So motivation we addressed previously. With narcolepsy, seek a medical professional. And I know not being with David does suck. I feel you, man, I feel you. But if it is your goal to meet with a friend, specificity is king. Something like, let's meet up this summer never ends up happening. But let's meet up on July 16th at Baskin Robbins, 2 p.m. It's much more likely to happen. 9? I think this is a common problem. Drinking bubble tea every day. With this one, it's hard to give concrete tips without knowing the full context. But in general, I think it's just about making it harder to spend. For example, if you use Apple Pay, get your credit card off your phone. That way you'll have to go through the extra effort of grabbing your wallet and bringing your manual credit cards if you want to go buy chat time. If you do use a credit card, maybe keep your wallet in your basement. So that if you want to go get chat time, you'll have to go all the way down to the basement to get your wallet before going out. And even that little bit of friction can have a massive impact. I think with this sort of addiction, I think it's safe to call it that. It's unrealistic to go from something like bubble tea every day to just not having bubble tea. So maybe start with something like, I can have bubble tea every day but Wednesday. And once you've made that a habit, maybe no bubble tea on Wednesday and Monday, and then only bubble tea on the weekends. The biggest mistake I think is jumping too far into it. It's called a habit for a reason. It's something we break over time, slow and steady. Last and certainly not least, this is an interesting one, is swearing. With swearing, I would consider the reason behind the swearing. Swearing is often used to impress, maybe to show that you're cool or a bad guy or girl. But every time I think about this, I always think back to one time where I did hear my dad swear. And I love him, he's the best dad I could wish for. But it also did make me lose some respect for him in the moment. It's not like, oh, I hear him swear, I think he's cool. No, I lost respect. When you hear your friends swear, do you think, oh, they're so cool? No, for me, I don't. So then that logically leads to the question, why do you think you swearing would make yourself seem cool? And I just want to give one final tip, and that is that we are probably going to fail as we're on our journey of breaking bad habits. After failing once, it's so easy to think that, oh, we messed up, we screwed up, and just give up on trying to break this bad habit. It will be a long journey, and that's why I always like to have the mindset of never failing twice. We slip up, we sleep in one day, but don't make that happen twice. Never fail twice. Woo! And that brings the video to a close. I hope you enjoyed it, you found it entertaining and helpful. If you did, I would really appreciate if you could like, comment, subscribe, and share with friends and family. It was fun interacting with you guys as much as we can through YouTube. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have an awesome rest of your day.